Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be text or call crisis. Well, I've got a short and sweet email here from a guy who says he's trying to follow what my book teaches, but as he starts dating women and things progress over several weeks, they start reaching out, calling, texting more, and he says he's trying to follow what the book teaches and stay off the phone. But what happens is these women tend to get a little pissed off that it seems like he doesn't want to talk to them. So there's a couple things that he's missing about the book. He needs to tweak his game a little bit, so we're going to help him with that. So it's a really great email because this particular guy is in a phase where he's been dating these girls, or this one girl in particular he's asking about right now, for several weeks. Things are progressing. She's starting to like him more. Her attraction level is going up. So she's calling and texting more. And his biggest problem, obviously, he's not really facilitating getting together because he's trying to be, in essence, a little bit too much like a robot and stick to the once a week thing. So part of the problem is, I would have to say, is he probably hasn't read the book 10 to 15 times. But it's just a subtle tweak because you're going to get to that point. You start date, you meet somebody, you pick them up, you get their number, you have a first date, or you have a first date a couple days later. Then as the weeks progress, you're going to start seeing each other more and more. And so this is kind of like as you kind of go from the dating phase into the relationship phase. Because if this guy proceeds that way and he does it right, typically, as I talk about in the book, if you follow what the book teaches, usually by week 7 is usually when women are totally in love, and that's when the, hey, where's this heading type of conversation comes up. And if you're already seeing each other just about every day, then it's kind of a no-brainer. But obviously you got to do the right things to transition there, and things are getting a little bumpy for this guy because he doesn't quite know the fundamentals well enough. He's not transitioning smoothly, so things are getting a little rough unnecessarily. So let's help him tweak his game. So I have a quote that I wrote, and I'm going to go into his emails real short. So the quote says, "Before mobile phones and the internet, people mostly got together in person to get to know one another. With modern technology, human beings are literally digitally connected to each other 24/7. Dating is like sales skills 101 in that you close the sale in person to be the most effective and successful. Building sexual anticipation is essential in a way that is similar to how television and movies always leave you wanting more, with a cliffhanger and unresolved tension. This makes you tune in for the next television episode or to go see the movie sequel. Talking on the phone and texting instead of making your romantic real-life movie in person is like someone telling you how a movie or TV episode ends before you've seen it. In other words, if you already know how it's going to end, like, why bother going to see it? And if you're talking on the phone all the time and texting, but you never get together in person, then when you get around, I'm trying to make a date, and it's kind of like, well, I'm busy, I got this, I got that, maybe next week. Guys, I used to make this mistake a lot in my 20s. You just get to the point where you start talking them out of it, and then eventually they start to tell you don't really know what to do or how to facilitate. It's almost like you're waiting on them to tell you what to do. It's the man's job to be direct, decisive, get right to the point, and make something happen. When a woman reaches out to a man more and more as the courtship proceeds and the sexual anticipation grows, the man should only relieve the tension by courting her in person. More reaching out by her means more frequent get-togethers. She opens the door, and all you have to do is walk through it." Let's go through his email. He says, "Hi, Coach Corey Wayne. I seem to be having a lot of trouble lately with women when it comes to talking over the phone and meeting up. You said in your book and in videos that the phone is only used for setting a definite date. I have done this with a recent girl I started talking to, and it worked in the beginning. However, as her attraction level increased, she started to text and call me more. And when she started texting and calling you more, you should be getting together. Because, I mean, unless you're long distance, I mean, you're living in the same city, and if you both are available and you're both single and neither one of you have kids, what's typically going to happen? She's going to get home from work, think about the great date that you had a night or two ago, call you or text you, or maybe she calls or texts you at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And when she texts you, she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, I was thinking about you. What are you doing later?" Oh, I'm not doing anything. Well, great. Why don't you grab some wine and come on over and we'll make dinner together? Or why don't you grab a 6 pack of beer and we'll Netflix and chill? I mean, the idea is what happens is it doesn't have to be a formal date where you go pick her up and open the car door and do all that. Those things are nice, but as you're going out and you're having those dates and you're getting together, especially as you start hooking up, because most women are going to sleep with a guy by the second or third date. As that starts happening, it's not like the idea is, as I talk about in the book, it's you start out with 1 date a week, and that's where the guy facilitates it. And once the woman starts reaching out, you're going to start seeing each other more and more. The idea is not to make her wait a whole week to see her and then only go out once a week. The idea is get together some nights, because what happens is as she calls and texts you more and more, sometimes it's like you get a call in the middle of the day, hey, I was out and about and I'm in your area of town. I was thinking maybe of stopping by to see you. Great, come on by. She comes by and your house is 10 minutes away. Hey, let's go. I got this cool thing I want to show you at the house. And she's like, what is it? It's round. It's got a head on it, and it's not a quarter. And then just something stupid or silly, playing with her like that. You go back to your house, and you have a nice nooner. And then you go back, she drops you off, or sometimes she comes in, locks your office door, and gives you a blowjob in the middle of your office. I mean, that's just how things naturally happen. They naturally progress like that. And the idea is to facilitate getting together in person and not like, trying to be all robotic about everything and follow a bunch of rules. The idea is that you start the courtship off, and as she kind of takes the ball and runs with it, you get to the point where you're hanging out all the time. If you're dating somebody that has kids, it's like, hey, I got the munchkin this week. What are you doing? I was like, I'm hanging out. She's like, well, we're going to watch some My Little Pony later. You're more than welcome to come on over. And it's like, great, I'll grab a 6-pack, or I'll grab a bottle of wine, or hey, if you guys, I'll grab some chicken breasts and we'll come over and make some stir fry or something. And you just hang out. It doesn't have to be a formal date, especially if you date women that have kids that they got to feed them. And then, the kids go to sleep 8, 9 o'clock, and then you can hang out and drink some wine, watch some TV, do some s'mores, roast some marshmallows in the fireplace, or whatever. And you stay the night, you get up in the morning, and you leave where. I mean, that's just, things naturally progress like that. I'm sure maybe this guy's young and he hasn't experienced that yet, but that's just, especially if you're dating somebody that has kids involved, you do what you can to get together in person. And you can't always go out for a date night every night. And sometimes she'll call you, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I just got home from the gym. What are you doing? I was like, well, me and the munchkin just got home. Have you eaten yet? I was like, well, let's all go to eat. I'll be over your place 20 minutes. Boom, you have the car and you go and you hang out. I mean, she's reaching out to you. It just kind of naturally happens that way. It's not about being all robotic. Because as she likes you, the compliment is her attraction's growing. She wants to bond and connect more. So she reaches out, facilitate getting together. You can get together the same day if you got nothing going on. It's just totally natural. And then, like I said, around week 6, week 7, you're going to be staying at her house every night. She's going to be staying at yours. If she's got kids, she'll be bringing her kids over to your place to stay at your house. And if you got kids, you'll be going over to her place to staying with your kids. And you get up and maybe go and take them to school together next morning. That's just how things naturally progress. Effortless, easy. You're making it harder than it needs to be, dude. He says, however, as her attraction level increased, she started to call and text more. I know it's a good thing, but when I answer her texts and her phone calls, she ends up talking about various subjects. And that's going to happen, but I mean, at the end of the day, it should be happening together in person. Because, like I said, you'll get calls or texts, and they'll be like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Or I'd love to see you tonight. Or it's like, if you're in a relationship, it's like, hey, what are we doing for dinner tonight? You might get a text like that from your girlfriend that you're dating in the middle of the day. And you just facilitate, I got a real cool restaurant I want to take us all to. I'll pick you guys up at 7 or 8 or whatever it happens to be. I know you say to only talk for a short time, but normally she gets upset when I make an excuse to get off the phone, even if we had an already scheduled to meet up date. If you got a date already set up a day or two in advance, you're going to take her to dinner, she's got a babysitter taken care of, and then she's calling you tonight, but she's got the munchkin. It's like, shoot on over, have a bottle of wine. Have some dinner together. Go out and eat dinner together. Just figure it out. I try to get off the phone so that we have stuff to talk about in person. Again, she's reaching out to you. She's she's chasing you. And at the end of the day, if a woman is pursuing you and chasing you, she's not blowing you off. The reason she's calling and chasing you more, she wants to see you more, so make it happen. However, if we have a date coming up in a few days, how do I respond to her texts and calls until that day? Just say, hey, great to hear from you. What are you doing later? You got any plans tonight? And she'll say, no. It's like, well, why don't you come on over? Bring some vodka or whatever. Bring some coffee or bring some tea. Bring some chocolate. We'll hang out, whatever. Figure it out. Do I ignore her until that day comes? Absolutely not. You're all into technique and game playing and what do I do next? It's not like that, dude. This is what happens when you read the book 10 to 15 times. You don't have situations like where you're trying to figure everything out. It's just you see the natural progression. She's reaching out. She wants to see you more. So facilitate getting together. Even if you already got a date set up in a couple of days, you can invite her to come over and hang. Hey, I'm just going to hang tonight and watch some next Netflix or watch Game of Thrones or whatever happens to be. Why don't you come on over and we'll hang out? We'll get some takeout. We'll do some Chinese takeout. We'll get some pizza and we'll play some darts. We'll play some Game of Thrones pinball or whatever. And how would I avoid talking about subjects when she does reach out to me? Again, make a date happen. It can happen, like I said, if you're several weeks into it and you're hooking up already and she's calling and texting you at night, just tell her, come on over. Get your ass over. Get your little ass over here. Game of Thrones is on tonight. Or get your little ass over. I got a great movie to watch. What is it? It's not your damn business. Go grab some of that great Chardonnay we had tonight. Come on over. All right, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Or I'll be there at 8. Pretty simple, dude. Don't complicate it. Thanks, Corey Wayne. Hope to hear from you soon. Well, if you'd like to get my help personally, maybe you're in one of these situations and you really dig the girl and you don't want to screw it up, I'm happy to help you with it. If you got something career-minded, purpose-oriented, business-oriented that you'd like to get my help with, go to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book whatever coaching option works for you. And I will talk to you soon.